Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Window Chats with Robyn, the Instagram Live podcast, where anything that can go wrong most likely will go wrong. But that's the exciting thing with these lives. We have Kat today, and this is her first time doing a live, so I'm very excited, hoping the experience will go pleasantly. You never know, but Kat's a cool gal. Oh, she's here. Okay, so we're going to invite her in. Hi, Kat. And hopefully it works. This is the hardest part of the day for everyone. My regular viewers are aware of this, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. Oh my God! Oh wait, you're sideways. But other than that,
nope.
Oh,
hang on.
Oh, you are prepared. You've got like a ring light and everything.
Well, after we're done here, I have an audition. So
I figured. We're going on a journey. Oh.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I love the background. Is that a gray?
It's purple.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, so I have two different backgrounds. Sorry, you're still sideways.
Oh, that's
But I've got the traditional blue, and then I've got a purple. And sorry, I didn't realize Instagram forced you to be horizontal or vertical instead of horizontal.
I mean, it's the opposite of any actor self-tape, so I completely understand. Are you okay with the angle? Is it too close to your face? Are you feeling okay?
I'm all right.
Okay, I think you look good. All right. But thanks for doing this. Nice to see you. And I love, you know what? I love the background because I struggle with blue because all I own are blue. I have so many blue shirts. So I have like a couple audition outfits that I can wear. But other than that, my entire wardrobe is blue. So I think you've inspired me to get another background color. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, the trick with the background colors is just make sure that it works with your skin tone. Right? So check where you're at on the scale, because I also have a red one too if I'm feeling extra cheeky. But the red in the wrong light makes me look really weird. So find what works best with your skin tone and you can balance your clothes off of it. You know, if like you're wearing a lot of dark, that means the light balance is going to be different. If you wear a lot of light colors, the light balance is going to be different. So check yourself to make sure that you're in play.
I can tell you when I've definitely finished an audition and went, whoa, that was a bright color. I probably should have changed it. But it was at that point where I'm like, but the take was good enough. And then I thought, no, I think the clothes definitely ruined that audition. So these are, like valuable tips from Kat. I like it.
I've been in that position. My common self-tape wardrobe is actually this black shirt because it hides the boobs and it keeps me neutral. And I made the mistake one day because I was out and I had this audition and my friend was going to help self-tape it with me, but he didn't have a background. So we decided to just do it in his living room. And my brain didn't even click in that he has this massive black screen behind me. So I became a floating head the entire time. So I've had all of the mistakes.
Those are the fun things that you look back on and you go,
Right. The audition was really good, but you're just a floating
I mean, honestly, I think it's a bold choice. I think no one else.
True.
Oh, that's so funny. No, you're not although I guess we are kind of floating heads in the Instagram live format. It is odd, but
yeah,
it is what it is. I know you're new to Instagram live. People are writing comments. Someone wrote good luck on your audition. I think that was Carol because she's so sweet.
Thank you.
So yes, that's exciting. I'm glad this worked out. I'm like, oh God. I missed those last second auditions of, oh yeah, clear my schedule. But really,
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to do this. At least the sides are short too. It's not a long one that I have to worry about. I've got like 4 lines in it, but it's a lead role, so I gotta give a lot of energy. So it's fine. It'll be fun.
This is a warm up. We're warming you up, and then you go in like, please. I was just on tape, so I'm ready. Let's do it. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, good luck. Sending out all the positive vibes. I find, honestly, like virtual vibes are real. It's so weird. The people that I've been helping with self-tapes, they go, it's working with other people. And it just does something. So I think you're going to book this one. I have a sense. Yeah. I mean, I'll only take 5%. It's totally, that's how it works.
That's fair. Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm just trying to look at that thing.
Oh, no, that's fair. Take it all in.
There's so many people in here. What's going on?
Oh, it's okay. It's fine. No one's here. We're just having a conversation. It's a little daunting where you're like, people listen to what I say. No, yeah, they do. But I think you have valuable information. And you know what? It's so funny. I was trying to remember when I first connected with you, and I was wondering if it was as far back for when it was Live with Lewis and I saw you in the little Zoom square. But I don't know if I connected with you then or if it was just your Zoom reads that you were doing. So I couldn't remember. But I remember the catatonic. That's what I remember. And like, what an iconic name. But
Yeah.
that is what I recall.
I can't remember where exactly we connected because I'm so everywhere, apparently.
That's the thing, right? And then I'm like, I don't know. I've definitely seen her in a lot of places, but I don't know. I'd like to try and remember that before I chat with someone. I'm like, I don't know, but I like her, so we'll chat. I also enjoyed your mug is nice.
Thank you. I just see a question from my friend who's under the name Isolation Film Festival today. He said, how did you come to make the choice to change your hair color? And so this was actually a big deal. And also at the same time, a spur of the moment thing. I was noticing the quality and types of auditions that I had been receiving over the last year or so, especially as I've aged, because I'm now in my 30s, so I've entered no man's land as far as casting goes, because this is that age demographic where women are too old to be the teenager or the young mom, but too young to be the grandma, so we just don't exist. So what I was seeing was happening with my blonde hair, even though it's my natural color, is the substance to those auditions were, what can we put her in that's safe? And with, diversity getting their moment, which is fantastic. Like, I'm so excited that diversity is finally getting their moment. That meant give the white blonde girl the drug addict role. Put her in that pigeonhole because that's the safe spot to put her, because we don't want to put BIPOC in a bad light. We don't want to put BIPOC in a bad light, ever. We're done with that. That trope is dead. Stop it. But where are we going to put the white blonde girls? Well, they can be the junkie. They can be the hooker. They can be the ne'er-do-well that has no layers to their character. And so I was like, I don't like this anymore, and it's not serving me, and it's not serving me as an actor, as a creator. And so I kind of toyed with the idea for a little while and was like, what can I do? One of the things that also speaks to me is my Costa Rican roots. And I was like, there's calls for Latin women, but I don't look like my fellow Latin women with my blonde hair either. So it was suggested to me, why don't you try going dark? And I was like, well, that's really scary to me because I've never been dark in my entire life. And then I went to go and actually have, because I used to have extensions in, and I went to go and have them moved up. And we determined that my extensions were old enough that I probably should order some new ones. But thanks to the pandemic, I can't order new hair. And so spur of the moment, we're like, screw it. Let's go dark, right? And so it happened. And I left the stylist going, what have I done? And I was like, I don't know if I like it. Oh my God, this is gonna be a nightmare. My agent's gonna hate it. In fact, she did at the time. But I noticed after that the bravado and the gravitas that I'm able to hold on screen has changed as well, because now I have this like weird cojones, as I want to call it, when I deliver these lines, that my natural quirkiness shines through rather than, oh, look at all this blonde hair. So that's kind of like, it's a long story about why I went dark, but that's the roundabout way of saying it.
No, I think that's so interesting. I have never colored my hair, and I do find, when you say it's daunting, I can't, like, me going blonde, I've seen my sister and I look very similar, and she went blonde, and I go, I don't know, that's not for me. But then I wondered the different kinds of roles I could get. And honestly, now I'm like, ooh, maybe I should go blonde, try out being a drug addict. That could be fun. But it's very interesting, right? How hair color can affect someone. And I know you hear those behind the scenes stories where people can't actually picture those actors with a different hair color, right? Even with Schitt's Creek and Annie Murphy, I think it was Eugene Levy couldn't picture Annie Murphy as a blonde. And it was just a whole thing. And I think Dan Levy ended up just putting like a blonde, cut out some blonde hair and put it on like that. That's how they would look. Because sometimes it's very hard to visualize. And I completely understand that. So I commend you on, this is so fascinating, because changing your hair, even me getting a haircut is a new look for me, right? So the color I would wake up after I color my hair. I would wake up for the first time, look, and be like, "There's a stranger. What happened?"
Oh my God.
You know,
For
it's
like
just like terrifying.
3 weeks. For 3 weeks, every time I walk by the mirror, like, who dat? Like, what's going on? Or the day that I got it done and I walked into the house and my son was sitting on the couch and he looked up and he started to cry and I'm like, honey, and he's like, well, we don't look alike anymore. I was like, it's like, baby, I still look like you. I promise. We are carbon copy. It's so cute.
So,
But
I find so the rare I find I rarely know someone that's a natural blonde. So the fact that you are a natural blonde, I found that fascinating because I'm like, I thought you chose to be a blonde. But yes, I didn't mean to interrupt you as you were. Okay.
no, I was gonna say my goal is because again, being in no man's land as far as casting goes, and I actually I kind of hope that I'm wrong, but this is just my experience and what I'm seeing. But being in the no man's land section, and still growing and establishing my resume and pushing through the ranks of like the union and things like that, my goal is that once I'm more established, to start bringing the blonde back in, to go back to myself, but establish more like more strongly in this pocket as this person, so then I can be the other shade of myself later on when people know the flexibility in my look.
I like that. No, I think that's so interesting too. And there are so many actors that, and again, when they're established, because I've seen them as a certain hair color or even a hairstyle, right? Short versus long. And then I see them in something else. I go, I know your face. Where do I know? Oh, right. You did those bit rolls before you could do whatever you want with your hair. Totally get you now. So I never clued in as we're having this discussion. I find this fascinating. And no, I love this. And now I'm like, what can I do with my hair? But I'm honestly, I'm just gonna leave it as is. But I commend you and everyone else that is doing stuff with their hair because I don't know why. I find it's emotional sometimes, right? Like it's my hair, and I don't know. I also think if anyone has to get a haircut, it's gonna be my husband first because on guys, the hair just grows, and it's like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot of hair.
And it's luxurious and thick, such a waste.
It's so thick. It's true. Yeah. Oh my God. And this has become a hair discussion, and I love it. But also there was the Isolation Film Festival. Your new headshots work great too, and you made a smart choice taking those recent steps. Look at this love.
Thank you. Alex at the festival knows that I adore him, so it's okay. But yeah, this entire last, I guess, 6 months of the pandemic has been make changes. Go for it. Push forward. Don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So that ties into the hair, that ties into everything that I've been trying to do because the pandemic's changed the way that every one of us operate. So why not use that opportunity to grow?
Well, you did, if I'm not mistaken, I think you worked on that 48-hour film festival, right? I thought that was so cool. I love that concept. I don't know how it went for you guys, or I don't even know if I ended up seeing the final product, but as we're talking, I'm going to find it or send it to me. But there's a concept, if people aren't aware, you create a film, you get, correct me if I'm wrong, but you get a topic, and there are certain things you have to incorporate, and you have 48 hours to do everything, film and edit, right?
So there's a couple versions of this one. I've done the 48-hour film festival, and I also did the 72-hour one. I much prefer the format of 72 hours because what I can do with an extra day, chef's kiss, let me tell you. But yeah, the 48-hour film festival in general is really inspiring and invigorating. And I think there's actually a 24-hour format too, but no, absolutely not. No, cannot. But so you sign up with a group. You're not allowed to discuss, pre-plan, or anything like that, although I've heard through the grapevine that a number of people have cheated, which is not okay, because that just takes the fun out of it. Yeah. But they know the format, so they've been like, oh, we know it's going to be like that, so we can just insert those things there. And it's like, why? Not cool. But you know what? They get to look themselves in the mirror the next day, and it's not me that has to suffer with that cheating. But what happens is the night before, you're sent, you're given like a theme, a prop, a line, a character. These are the common ones that are included in these festivals. For our 48-hour film festival, we had to have a character with the name of Mika Ash, who was a social media influencer of some kind. We had to have the line, "We're not all in this together." And our prop was an alarm clock. So we receive these elements. I think for that one, it was at 6 o'clock at night on the Friday, I want to say. And then we had to start. And so first night we did a think tank and we wrote into the night. The next day we all agreed to meet up at like the crack of stupid in the morning to start. Found our location, like got our location rolling. We built the script around the ability that we know certain actors that were in our group are able to vibe and kind of just bounce off each other and improv, but we had this like set idea of what we were going to do. We filmed all day Saturday, handed off to be edited all day Sunday and submitted. We did the same thing with the 72-hour one where we got our stuff Thursday night where we could start the writing, and then we filmed. We actually didn't start filming until 6 o'clock Friday night, and then we didn't start filming until about 2 o'clock Saturday. So we took way more time than we needed and then handed it off to be edited, which was wild. It always amazes me the type of product that people can put together in such a short amount of time. And so I highly recommend everyone at some point in your life get involved in one of these challenges, because you get to see not just if you and I are actors, but you get to see the production side and you get to see the lighting and you get to see the direction and writing, and you learn so much as a creator yourself when you're invested in it so much. So do it. Go do it. Everyone do it.
I know. You're inspiring me to do a lot of things today, Kat. I love it. I got to change my backdrop. I got to figure out my hair. And then, no, but I love the idea of seeing how creative you can be in such a short amount of time, because it's, you know what, it's that lack of overthinking, right? It's okay. This is what it is. We're just going to do it. And I do wonder, because I've edited quite a bunch of stuff from an editor perspective. I found it's better to give them more. And I mean, I hate it sometimes, but it's always those little nuggets of things that I think, do I need to film this? Yes, I did. I'm very glad I filmed it. It's always those short shots that you don't think, you go, oh, I'm so glad I filmed this. This is perfect here. It's such a nice payoff. Even when you're, those couple last shots where you're so tired, like, okay, we'll put it on tape. So glad we did.
Yeah. Well, like for our 72-hour film festival, it's actually the horror film festival. And we unfortunately got disqualified because we had an issue with the upload at the last minute, and that's fine. Shit happens. Be prepared for that and like move on. But I was adamant about filming as many of the extra shots as we could. And there was a disconnect with our editor at the time because he's like, we don't need all that. We don't need that. We don't need it. I'm like, trust me, when we're doing a horror, this is about how far can we stretch that rubber band before it snaps. Right. So we want to add that intensity, that suck the air out of the room moment. And they could just be 3-second shots of the street or a hand reaching somewhere. Like all of that other stuff just adds that suspense. So those things that seem irrelevant actually are so relevant. So you have to put them in there because they do motivate and tell the story. And of course, as you're editing, if you find it's just dragging, ditch it, whatever. But at least you've got it, right?
It's so true. It's so true. Do you work with the same editor every time, or like, do you have your tribe of people?
I have a tribe of people that I'm lucky because I'm out in the Kawarthas, so there's a handful of us that get together a lot on these projects, and we've brought in others too, depending on what's going on, to see where we can play with it. I've also been learning to edit and set lights and things like that as part of my journey as an actor and as a writer and a director, producer. So
the lighting is so key. It's insane. I didn't realize it till you start.
Part.
It's so hard. You're like, wow. Even just like certain angles, like I didn't know that the lighting could change so much. It's fascinating.
Yeah, like I wonder if I can do it here without messing everything up. But
yeah,
even something as simple, no, my ring light's not going to do it right now because I've got natural light over here. But something that I learned that's really, really striking is called Rembrandt Lighting. So it's finding angles and triangles. So if you have a light source coming here and a shadow on this side, it really changes a mood and changes the dynamic of what's going on. So like all of those things play into how you're portraying this moment, this mood, this character, and can change the dynamics of everything in that spot. I mean, right now I'm set up for a self-tape, so everything's on blown up and dead on, but you can play so much with light.
Absolutely. And I have a question here from Carol. Do you like being behind the camera or in front of the camera?
This is really hard for me. I really enjoy both. Um, I I like behind the camera because I'm able to help direct and orchestrate art. And watching other actors or creators embody and grow and feel and emote and have all those moments is so inspiring to me. And when I'm behind the camera, I get to learn more by watching them. On the flip side, I love putting those skills that I've learned into play and going for it and allowing myself to let go of control and fall into that character. So there's two sides to that story where I don't think I could ever split them and say I like one more than the other. They both serve a purpose.
Have you ever done projects where you're in front and behind the camera, or do you? Oh, you okay. So I find for those, that is the biggest struggle for me. Where,
They're really hard.
yeah.
And I've actually had this discussion a few times recently on some projects that I'm working on behind the scenes where I can't really go into the details of it, but we had some change up in structure. And one of our actors is also director, and I'm also a director and an actor and producer. And so we're like, okay, so how do we do this? And they were like, hey, I'll step in and direct. I'm like, but here's my problem. If you're directing, that means all of your attention goes into directing, which means your focus cannot be on you delivering your best performance as an actor, which means we need to have an extra set of eyes just to direct you. So when you drop in, you can be dropped in rather than focusing on, is this light over here? Is this, and how do I look here? And what's going on here? And like, we want to make sure that the actor is protected in their little bubble while they're performing. So their mind isn't split between the two drops. Mm-hmm. So if I'm directing and acting in something, I always have a spotter or somebody else that has an eye that can help me to make sure that I'm in my best light as well.
Absolutely. I don't know about you, but sometimes as I'm attempting to direct, I realize what I want in my head is so hard for me to describe. And I think coming from that perspective, I find it fascinating now when I approach auditions because it's you get whatever description, but it's so hard to describe 100% what you're looking for in a breakdown or even when you're doing a redirect. So that process has been so eye-opening for me. I really, it's one of those things, and that's why I always, when I'm discussing or chatting with my fellow actor, it's the more well-rounded you can be, right? The more behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, the better you are as an actor. At least that's what I think.
I think the best thing that you can do when you're looking at breakdowns and things is to actually take some writing courses, get into writing scripts more, because then you'll start acting for the writer and writing for the actor. And your understanding of the vocabulary kind of shifts. So when you get a breakdown, you can look at it and kind of dissect the text and go, oh, here's the subtext of what they're looking for. And I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes what we receive on breakdowns is pretty surface, and it's up to us to find those layers in it as well. And you could walk into the room and the director might have this idea, and this is the idea that they think they're going with. And you walk in and you do something way off left field and they go, holy shit, I didn't think of that. And then all of a sudden that ends up in the room and that's what they want. Or they go, I really like what you just did there. That is so wrong, but holy crap, you committed to that. And that's a choice. Can you give us this? And then it just opens up a new door. So like, just dissect it, commit. Yeah. Giver.
That's actually a really great point. I remember when I was trying to find people for something, and this one actor gave me more than what I asked for, but in the best way possible, that I just ended up rewriting something because I'm like, this is the direction we're going, because it wasn't what I thought, but it was so good, and I love their interpretation. And you know what? It's that collaboration. It's that walking in knowing that you have something to give, or walking into the audition room, or zooming in, or just self-taping in, but just giving whatever character, making that choice, like you said, and if it works, cool, and if not, but at least it's something, right? This is what I bring to the table, and cool, maybe we collaborate this time, maybe we don't, but it's trying to be true. I struggle with being true to my authentic self the majority of the time, so, what can I bring versus what would you like?
It's interesting, that comment about true to your authentic self. There's something about humans in general that you put a camera in front of us and all of a sudden we go I forgot how to breathe. I forgot how to walk. I don't know how to do the thing. And that's just us getting in our own way. So it's a struggle that I have too, that everyone needs to get past. It's just throw it away. Let go of control. And this is so hard. Don't get me wrong. I know I make it sound easy, but let go and just be. And it'll happen. And like some of the most beautiful moments happen in acting when you forgot your line or you don't know what's going on and you're just in the moment and somebody goes blah blah and you're like, I don't know. And it's like, well, that was perfect, right? Because you're in that moment and just giving it. So have fun.
I love that. I always think of, I love watching those behind the scenes. Back in the day of DVDs being a thing, I would watch the behind the scenes. And one of my favorite ones was from Zoolander. And I love the ridiculous movies. And they were in a cemetery. And this guy was giving a whole speech about whatever. He was the hand model. And he gave this whole speech. And then Derek Zoolander had another line. He could not remember it, so he just repeated his line from before. Why male models? He just repeated it twice. And it wasn't part of the script, but he could not remember his line. He committed to it. And because he's playing the role of a very unaware male model, it totally worked. And I love that wasn't written. When I learned it wasn't written, I was shocked because it was so perfect in that scene. So I love that. I love it's just kind of staying in character and just going with it. And then just gold comes out. Again, there's definitely better examples, but I love my Zoolander.
That's a great example, though, because it is so absurd, that conversation that they were having, right? So there they are in the middle of the scene, and he's so lost, but his character is naturally lost. So what happened was natural. It's pure gold in that sense. And that's why I love, like, when I'm doing the 40-hour film festival or anything like that, I purposely bring in actors that I know that can improv to work with me, because I've got this running joke that whatever comes out of my mouth is coming out of my mouth, whether it's on the page or not, sometimes. And I used to get in trouble sometimes when I was doing stage productions for improvising or I forgot the word for it right now. Sorry, I just left the chat. But I would say what the author was saying, but with different words.
The intention is there, so.
Yeah. And so I would get in trouble, and I on stage, obviously, and even in film, you do want to honor what the author has written. Mm-hmm. Always try your best to honor what the author has written, but sometimes the natural just flies because you're sitting in the pocket and you understand your character. So if you've done the work, you're able to throw the work away and just be and let it ride.
Absolutely. I love that. And that's the thing. It's so hard because I want to give some of the words justice. I love when I read a good script. I love when I'm like, oh, this is how I would talk. There's something to good writing that just makes me want to get it on tape right away and just be a part of it. And people are trying to guess what you meant. Ad-libbing, paraphrasing. Is that what
paraphrasing? Paraphrasing
okay.
is the word that I was looking for.
That's so funny.
But yeah. But yeah, play with it. It's all. It's one of the biggest things for acting or creating in general. I keep coming back to this, is just play. Just have fun.
Mm-hmm. And that's honestly, I loved it. And I know we were messaging before. The Zoom reads that you have where authors get to hear their words said by actors, I think that's such a valuable thing. And I never really understood why can't the writer just read it? And then you hear what actors bring to the role sometimes and you go, oh, yes. Or, okay, you know what? That didn't sound like actual English. Let's fix this. But honestly, they're really good scripts that you guys have. So that's just me giving an example. The writing that people have is so inspiring. Very impressed.
I'm always so blown away by the creativity that goes into these stories, whether it's a short or a full-length feature. The concept, the ideas, the way they string it together, the character development. These are all the things that light up my night. And I was honored with doing a script a little while ago that brought up quite a bit of buzz because people were nervous about the fact that we were dealing with autism in the conversation. And that same script was actually submitted to a bunch of reviews and festivals. And the comment back that the professional reviewers said was how fantastic this particular script was and all of the wonderful things that were going on in it. But in the official review, they said, you should have your script read out loud by actors. And it's like, well, that's what we're here for. I was just super excited to see that come back from a festival review where they're promoting having actors do table reads and how valuable it is to have actors do table reads, because you can get, you know, your mom, your cousin, your dog, whatever, to do these reads, but they're not going to give it the same force as an actor might.
I will agree with that. My uncle back in the day, I remember he's done some films, and he got us as a family for one of his first films to read it around the table. And I would say he should have gotten actors. But I appreciated the level of commitment. Like, I remember my grandmother having whatever role, and they're adorable. But it's also like they get distracted, right? So no one's really following along because they're all like cheering. They want to support each other and cheering each other on. But, oh yeah, what page are we on? So the flow is a little disrupted.
Yeah, and one of the biggest elements to that is not just having actors, but having somebody to narrate. Your narrator is its own character, and that is the most important person in a table read. Absolutely most important person. And I've had a lot of people reach out, go, oh, I'm not really an actor, but I'd like to narrate. I'm like, I love you, but no, absolutely not. And it's not because I don't trust that you can read, but it's like you have to carry the pace, which means all of the pressure is on you. So if we've got a script that all of a sudden has a fight in the middle of it on page 15 and like stuff is going on, your intensity in that delivery is what's going to move that story forward so that we can see it play in our minds, right?
Narration, exactly. And no one really understands, because it's, I don't know, sometimes you get a script and you're like, okay, what are my lines, right? Versus, oh, what's the in-between stuff that's actually important that the writer wants you to be aware of? Oh, yes, the 2 pages that are devoted to complete narration. Yes, let's read that.
They matter. They matter. It's not just taking up space. They matter.
I actually don't know. Have you had one of your scripts in a Zoom read?
Sort of.
Okay.
I've been working on a particular script now for 6 months, and I only have 15 pages done in it. And I've had it read out loud by actors, but not in the Zoom read itself yet because it's not complete. My story is very special to me because it is a true story about how an ex-boyfriend, who I no longer speak to, but his parents, their story of escaping Hungary during Nazi occupation has always stuck with me, and they gave me permission to retell their story. So this one is taking me a very long time to put all the pen to paper, but where it's at right now, I'm super proud of. I just need to finish it. And so I'm taking way more time with it than I probably should, but I'm babying it on purpose because I have to do their story justice.
Yeah.
I've helped edit, critique, tighten up language on other people's scripts in the process, which has been fine, and their scripts have been read out loud in the Zoom Reads group. I hope to have my script read eventually, maybe by the end of this year, see how we go, because it's designed to be a 30-minute short is what I'm aiming for.
That's so hard when it's so personal like that. It's again, it's those personal ones I completely understand take longer to write. Doing it justice. I feel as though I would write a couple words and then just get emotional and then have to walk away. There's something to being so engaged in that story, but I think that's going to make it such a powerful script, right? When you have all that put into the script. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. With it being a period piece and needing a train and all sorts of stuff, the likelihood of me ever having it produced is slim to none. But
there are trains.
It's just the cost to do it. Like when I originally was putting it together, I had actually built it with a larger cast and multiple locations and things like that to just bring the line items down, to bring the cost down alone. I've limited it to 5 characters and a train car. So even that, it's expensive. And these are the things that I think about too while I'm writing. Like a lot of the shorts that I've done, we've been doing it on a baloney budget on purpose because it's just go out and have fun and just make stuff happen, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also in the process of, I'm early stages of producing a feature length, hopefully going to camera around November. I'm in the process of another one that's going to camera next week, where we're looking at the budget and every line item and the ADs and the lights and all of this stuff is coming together that we're self-funding, right? Because applying for grants and financiers and things like that is so hard, and it's way above my my understanding as it stands right now. Hopefully, maybe in the future I'll understand it, but I'm all about keeping it as simple as possible right now to make sure that we can do it and can do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can self-fund, if I can, raise money with the group of people that I'm working with, that makes us be able to go to camera sooner because we know where every dollar is coming from. We know how to allocate. We can address the budget as we have it. Be like, okay, so I needed to spend $500 on light panels this week to arrive for next week. I needed to allocate that budget myself to make sure that I could do it so we can make this thing look better. That means, though, that for my next film, I've got 5 light panels to use later, right? So it's building up our own little bubbles production abilities too.
That's amazing. It's no writing from having all those things in mind, right? So that I think that you're such an advantage because you're not just writing it because you want to tell a story. You're writing it, but being realistic as to how you can get it made. And I think that's what's going to set you apart.
I hope so. All right, because like some of the scripts that we've read in the Zoom group, for example, the autism one, I am so behind having this particular script made because it is so beautiful. Every moment in this script has been so carefully crafted. It's based on the author's real life experiences with a couple gender flips to just make it a little more diverse in that sense. But the story, the structure, the elements, every piece of it is so moving and so touching and just so beautiful that story needs to be made. In order to have that story made, though, because of the locations, because of the amount of set needs, because of the amount of people needs, all of that stuff, that alone is $100,000, and that doesn't even cover the cost of the principal actors, right? And it just grows and grows and grows and grows, and it would take so much to make it. And yeah, I'm behind getting that one made eventually. The author knows that no matter what, I'm pushing that one forward as I can, but it's just there's so much that's going to go into making that one perfect that starting with the smaller ones to push that resume so we can be like, hey, this is our core group. This is our bubble. This is what we're capable of doing. Will you finance us? Is an easier story than, hey, we've got nothing. Give us money.
But people do that, right? We've got nothing. Give us money. So I love you're building, right? This is what we have. This is what we have to show for it. And you're being realistic with it. That's really admirable. I'm already impressed. I'm like, I don't know. I use my phone and I shoot stuff. So that's what I'm doing. Our
phones shoot in 4K, which means we're already ahead of the curve. Okay.
Yeah. There you go. I'm using whatever editing software, but you're like, yeah, I have my team, going to get my light panels. I'm very impressed.
Yeah. Working on it. Trying to grow.
But that's the thing. You're just, you know so many sides of the business, and I'm so excited for you. I'm very impressed with you. You are a very impressive individual.
Thank you.
You're getting a lot of comments of love, but I'm going to scroll. Got shout outs for being productive and a lot of passion. Look at this. I love these rooms so much. I say room like I'm in a clubhouse room, but I love this environment of everyone supporting everyone. And I think that's how we grow, right? We know that there are actors or people in the industry that they want to work with you and they want you to get better. So I love that.
Yeah. This industry is big, but it's small, and it's a collective. And there's going to be people that come into the collective that are solely looking to elevate themselves, and then there are people that are in the collective that are all about leveling up together. I am firmly on the side of leveling up together. I want you to succeed. I want everyone that's in this chat to succeed. I see a number of faces that I recognize in some of the scrolling. I'm like, these are my people. I love these people, and I want nothing but the best for every single one of these people. Even the people that are on the other side that are very self-absorbed, I want the best for them too, but I just won't work with them because I don't deal with egos. Sorry.
Can I ask you? I actually don't know how you got into acting. Can I ask that story? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay. So, like every little girl, I really, really, really enjoyed performance art. And I grew up in Costa Rica, so my opportunities down there were pretty limited. I got involved in every school play that I could. I was the lead in everything that I possibly could get into. I never got into dance though because I couldn't do the splits, and that was the prerequisite of getting to dance down there was doing the splits. I can do the splits now, but I couldn't when I was a child. I didn't get that side of it. And then when I moved to Canada, I was again involved in every theater production that I could get into. Actually, I had this little award plate from one of the directors in one of my last school musicals, and it was a joke because it was like the end of the season. Everyone's like, what were you best known for? And my thing was, can I make a suggestion? It's like, because that's the director in me, right? Going, hey, what if we try this? Or have you considered that? So I still remember that, and I think it's really funny because I've now reconnected to those teachers, and they move on to another school, and I'm watching them raise their daughter in the same environment that they embraced me in while they were teaching me theater and drama. And then because I had such a love for all of that, and okay, don't sue me, but I applied to the Toronto Film School my last year of high school. And Toronto Film School, as everyone knows, goes yes to everybody because we're a dollar sign. And so I went, and I was like, yay, I've made it. No, the fuck I didn't. I was so destroyed by my 2 years in that school that I actually left acting completely. What? Didn't think that I was ever going to do it. Didn't do theater anymore. Walked away. I was done. I was devastated. I felt like crap. I felt like I was not capable of creating art. The teachers there at the time were horrendous. One of them, who was quote unquote top casting director, I don't know who the hell she even was. She's apparently dead now. But she was quoted as the end all be all, used to say that I would never get anywhere because I was too fat. Okay. One of my friends who was in class, he's Pakistani, and she told him he will never make it because if anything, he'll just cast him as a terrorist and that's all he'll ever be. I was like, pardon what? No, we don't do that. And of course, 15 years ago now, but still 15 years ago at that time, it's still not appropriate. And that was the kind of bits of abuse that I was getting in school that led to my demise, for lack of a better word. Sorry, my son just knocked on the window.
Hello.
And so I hold a lot of hurt and pain for what I went through in school. I ended up leaving. My diploma is not worth the paper it's printed on. The school is not accredited, so I couldn't even apply to like Sheridan or Ryerson or anything like that with those credits because they're not relevant. It's not a real school. It's a career college. So good on them. They do other stuff. Not my problem. But I was just done. It ruined me for that moment. So I'd left, and I started my own entertainment company in Toronto, and I got more involved in the music scene. And that's where my name Catatonic actually came from, because it was actually Catatonic Entertainment. And I used to do weddings and corporate events and club nights and all sorts of stuff where I was heavily involved in the Toronto music scene and nightlife scene. And then that went well for a number of years. That's why my name on all social media is Catatonic, because actually Facebook won't allow me to change my name anymore. It's stuck. But that's how that all came to be. And then I ended up having my son, and I decided to leave town. And I took my son and I went up north. I was like, I'm going to raise him out of the city because of all of the hell that I've been through in a while. And like, let's be honest, the nightlife scene is pretty sketchy and shady as hell in general in Toronto. So getting out of there and away from people was probably the healthiest choice that I've made for myself in a long, long time. And while I was here, I was just living my life. Had really crappy jobs, wasn't doing anything special. And a friend of mine who had actually been in a play of his many, many, many years before reached out and said, hey, I'm actually going to be directing at the Peterborough Theatre Guild. Why don't you come out? Huh. Okay, sure. Because I love this man dearly. He was like, all right, I'll come out and support you. And it was a production of Dracula. And I got cast as Vixen number 3. And I was like, yeah, right? I don't care. I'm happy to play a tree. I'm happy to just exist in this space because I believe that there is no such thing as a small role. And I started rehearsals, and then there was another audition that happened, another audition. And in that year, I ended up doing something like 6 stage productions back to back, some of them rolling over each other, which is super cool and something I never expected. And during one of them, a call out went out, and this part of this story is super special to me because I love this woman dearly. But this call out went out for Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. And it was the youth production. And everyone kind of slags the youth production. And go, whatever, we don't need it. And they needed a couple of adults. They were looking for someone to play Aslan, the lion. And they were looking for someone to play Fenris Ulf or Majorum, whatever version of the story that you know the name on. It's the queen's henchman is the wolf, right? And I went and I emailed her. I said, hey, I know these are both male roles, but I would love to come and audition for you. Are you open to it? And she wrote back to me. She's like, yeah, get over here. And I walked in and I went to audition for Aslan thinking, I don't know how to play evil. Like, I'm the Hallmark girl, okay? Like, whatever. And she's like, you know what? You're not Aslan, but I would like you to play Fenris. And all right, cool. And from that moment on, my relationship with that director, her name is Altair Burrell, became instant. Like, she is my rock. She's my best friend. She's my confidant. I fucking love this woman. I cannot speak higher of this woman. If I've got anything going on in the acting world, I go to her. And she has been everything because all of her kids are also professional actors and things like that. But I didn't know that when I first met her. And she took me aside one day and said, the fuck you doing? She said, you want to act? She said, you want to act? You want to do this stuff? Like, your heart is here? You need to do this. And she kicked my ass. And she still kicks my ass. And she's, what the hell are you doing on a regular basis? And her suggestion to me that day was, you need to go, here's a Gloria Mann workshop. And this was 3 years ago. And so I did. And I walked into Mann casting that day, shaking like a leaf. I was terrified. Absolutely terrified. And I love Gloria to death too, because I know Gloria now. But she's so overwhelming some days because she's so invested and so involved and she knows her shit. And I went in and did my thing, and she lit me up in class and was like, look at this actor doing this and she's doing this. She turned around, she's like, who's your agent, honey? I was like, I don't have an agent. And she was like, that's changing. And she made a couple calls and got me an agent. And from then, it's just been boom, 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 boom. I booked a number of commercials real quick early on. I done a handful of other things. I moved to the union really quick. And that's kind of like the trajectory has been a 3-year path on the professional acting side because of that. So I give all of my thanks to Altair for that. She's a fantastic coach. She's my #1 coach. Like, I will go to other coaches, I will do stuff, and then I still take what I did with them to her for more tweaking sometimes. I've gotten to the point now where I don't need as much hand-holding as I used to need. I'm able to trust myself and allow myself to play more because of the way that she's kicked my ass and given me the self-confidence to know, you know what, I got this. This doesn't matter. Just be me kind of deal. So yeah, I cannot speak more highly of her. If anyone is listening and they're looking for a coach, let me hook you up. She will change your world.
But that's amazing. And I talked to so many people about, and yes, I agree. What a journey. That was very like fascinating. You just made everything work. And like, you just kept pushing forward. Like, I'm going to figure it out, and where is this taking me? And just like not taking no for an answer kind of attitude. I just, like, just adding to my I'm just so impressed with you. You're amazing. This sounds very insincere, but I think I'm still like absorbing everything you just told me. I'm like, what is this journey? I have to like not talk over you because then your audio will cut out. But I'm like, what is she saying? I did not know all this about you. So I'm going to like process this after our chat and be like, whoa, this girl has done a lot.
Yeah. I intimidate people because I don't say no for an answer. It's weird. I've developed enemies because of it, and I'm okay with that because those people are not my people. But I firmly believe that if you believe in what you're doing and you think that you're on the right path, to follow it, because that yellow brick road is where you want to be, right?
I love that. That's honestly, it's such an inspiring story. It is, and I for some reason I have no other adjectives in my wheelhouse right now. But you're so awesome. And you're part of the union. Look at you. Got a little card. My friend joined the union. I love when people join the union recently and they just post their card, and I'm just so proud of them. Like, look at them. Okay. It's so interesting. Can I ask a question? Do you feel safer going on a union set nowadays?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've heard. I do.
it's been asked a number of times because my professional resume is so lacking compared to other people of my age group, right? And so I've been questioned a number of times, even as recent as yesterday, as to why I went union. Why did you do that? Why, like, what? You could book more if you stayed non-union, that kind of stuff. And I went union because of the protection. I went union because I firmly believe that if you are pushing forward in your career, that, don't get me wrong, non-union work is fantastic, and if you're using this as your main source of income, do it. Keep
So
doing
it's
it.
a good save there. I'm still non-union, so like
yeah. So stay non-union as long as you want. Build that resume, make that money, because there's so much money in doing non-union. But when you make the switch to union, your auditions will slow down. Your competitive levels, you are now fighting with the big dogs who have been doing it probably longer than you have and have the experience and the coaching and all of that stuff, that they compete at a much higher level. So your booking ratio is going to likely go down unless you're magic. And you know what? We all have that little bit of magic. So don't let me put you off making those choices for yourself. But my biggest thing about going union is one of my last non-union films was a feature length, and I landed the title role. And I was abused every day on that set. The author was also the director and also decided to act in it. And he would degrade, belittle, sexually harass me, all sorts of stuff. And I'm not going to say his name on here because I don't want to bring all that kind of negativity. But that experience permanently changed my mind on where I need to go, because the union protects us. And I would be able to make a phone call and say, hey, I'm not comfortable. And there would be a rep on set within seconds, and that ship would be shut down. And now, in the non-union side, if you are uncomfortable, if you're in a position that you're not happy about, you're being abused, you can tell the director, the producer, whoever, go for coffee. Because you don't deserve that abuse either. But as a young actor, many people don't realize that they have the ability to say no.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize I had the ability to say no while I was in that situation. And it actually was other actors that came to me and were like, Kat, this guy is treating you like garbage. Like, this is not okay. And we got through 80% of filming before I walked. And I felt like such a garbage human being, because it's a lot of time and money that was put into that for me to walk before we were finished. And sometimes I think about that and go, wow, that was a really shitty thing of me to do. But I also needed to stand up for myself and the other actors on set and things that were going on. And I don't think that director has put another thing out since. So that's on him.
Did it actually get made?
No.
Yeah, okay. And I hate hearing that. I hate hearing that people have those experiences, because I know, like, all of us have had experiences that we're not the best on set, but to such an extreme that it's so abusive is really not okay.
Yeah.
And oh my God, every time I do these, it looks like I'm getting so emotional, but the room is so dry in here, and I can't open a window because then it's too loud. But yes, let's go with I'm emotional. I'm feeling for you. That's I should probably take the credit. Look at how invested I am as an actor. I'm feeling for all my actors. That's how I roll. But yes, you're getting a lot of love for walking away. A lot of good for you.
It was a hard choice to make. And I've seen and I've heard of other abuses. And you know what? Do not get me wrong. Abuse can happen on a union set. The difference is the union will come in and slap and put fines in and usher actors out so quickly, because we have rules and regulations to protect us that's there for the actor. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want to keep you. I know you have an audition coming up. Is there any final words you'd like to say? I know it's a weird question, final words, but I throw it out there every time.
I don't know. Is there, like, does anyone have any other questions? Because I don't really have any final words.
That's fair. Any questions for Kat? There is also a delay in the comments, which is always fun, when it's like we finished a story and then it's like, oh, yes, that. Thank you for commenting. I apologize that we missed it while we were chatting. How's your Instagram live experience? That's my question. Would you do one again?
This is kind of wild. Yeah, I think I would, because I enjoyed chatting with you. I don't know if I would lead one. I find the experience of talking about myself actually causes great anxiety.
Oh, really?
I don't like talking about myself in general. I like gassing other people up and talking about their successes.
Well,
So I
actually,
had to
that's
do a
the
lot of,
thing. I feel you, and that's why I'm doing this. Like, I talk to other people, but then when people ask me a question, I just deflect and move on. So I did put you on the spot quite a bit. I didn't know you didn't. I always assume it's like actors. Let's just promote ourselves. But I did
yeah,
have a
I'm the worst
question
for that.
from the Isolation Film Festival. What's it like working with your son? That's fun. I
Oh my
didn't know you.
God. My son blows my mind. This kid's gonna have a better acting career than I am, and I'm so there for it. He is so funny. We had him on set for the 48-hour film festival, and we gave him the line, "We're not all in this together." And the sass that came out of that boy's mouth, I was like, "Who are you?" Because he's so funny and he's so creative, and kids have this they don't give no shits attitude, and they're just like, "Here I am, we're doing the thing, I'm going wild, whatever," and they just go, and it is so inspiring to see that unbridled enthusiasm in children that I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely love it. I feel bad for him sometimes because we have like super early mornings and super late nights when we're trying to do stuff, but he's such a trooper, and I'm glad to have him on set with me. He used to come and be at the theater with me all the time too when I was doing theater productions all the time, and he would sit backstage and he would help actors, and he's really good at chirping at me when I've made a mistake with a line. You'll hear him, "You're doing it wrong, it's supposed to be blah blah blah." I'm like, "Shh."
So true. Kids know, they always know that. It's so, and you know what, honestly, full disclosure, I remember being that kid that's like, why are the adults getting their lines wrong? Okay.
Yeah.
It's clearly, because you're not nervous. You're just like, I know the script. I know everything. I will play the adult role if you get sick. Like, this is the confident child I had in myself. Like, yeah, everyone, I know all your lines. Get sick. I'm ready. So that was probably why I decided to learn them all. But really, it's so interesting, the retention that a child has versus when I get older and I'm like, I swear I could remember these lines when I was a kid. What is going on with me? I'm like, oh, I'm adding way too much stress to myself. Let's just have fun. So
That's exactly it. We're getting in our own way at that point. Learning lines should be easy. It's practice. You can teach yourself ways to get those lines down without struggle. I've learned ways over the last couple months to digest 20, 30 pages in an hour and be able to regurgitate them because I'm looking at the subtext of the line rather than the line, right?
exactly.
So it just comes out of the conversation. But that's my trick. You do what works for you. But when the kids are involved, they have that like memory where they know every word on the page. Photogenic, right? And they could just tell you, "Oh, on page 47, so and so said this." And you're like, "What? How'd you get that?" But
So what I'm hearing is we should hire your son for like for knowing the lines, just like when someone needs to call a line, just
script supervisor Aries, just the little guy on set going, "Hey!"
You're never too young to start, okay? I can see, and they also wouldn't care about hurting someone's feelings. Get the line right. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm living for it. I would love that. I love having him around for that. So
oh my God. I would enjoy it. So when that career happens, again, I will only take 5%, but it's
I appreciate that.
yeah, I'll give it low. But
we should get together and make some art next time when we get the hell out of lockdown.
Yes, we should. And Kat, thank you so much for doing this. I know everyone's always a little nervous doing Instagram lives, but you were great, and I love learning so much about you. And I hope people if they want to do your Zoom reads, do they just reach out to you, or is it okay? Because it's such an amazing experience to hear a writer and like to read the script, but also hear how actors, what they bring to the table when they're reading those characters. So I think those are really great opportunities. And I don't think there's anything else I had to promote for you, but
if you want to put out, it's just the Facebook group is called Zoom Reads. I appreciate everyone reaches out to me personally on that. And they're like, "Hey, I'm interested in this read." I'm like, today alone, I've got six scripts already posted. So if you join the group, I love you, but you don't need to message me because I'm going to lose it. Comment underneath the breakdown that you're available for that date and you're interested. And I will try my best to cast based on who said they're available for that date. Obviously, I can't cast everyone because I might have 12 roles and there's 67 people that want it. So I try to base it off headshots, looks. If I know you, if it's a certain type of character, I don't want to play favoritism. But if there's a certain type of character that I know that you're going to be able to nail, you're probably going to get it. And then new people, if I don't know you, I try to fill you in on all supporting roles and then move you up into bigger roles later when I know that you're comfortable reading and things like that, to give everyone that chance. I love to pair seasoned actors with brand new baby actors too, because it gives a dynamic growth opportunity for both sides. I do the same thing when it comes to like stage production too. Just before the pandemic, I was directing a show and I actually cast it twice. I had professional actors and brand new baby actors, and the idea was professional actors would be the leads the first couple shows, and then the second round of shows, the brand new baby actors took over the lead roles and the professional actors took over the supporting. So they had to learn two parts for it, because it's all about that growth mindset, getting you to be able to play and vibe and see and be mentored by those who are already established to keep going that way. And I do that in the Zoom reads too.
That is so cool. You're just so, I love, you're like, yeah, this is what makes sense. Like, that makes a lot of sense. I would never have thought to do that. I'm fascinated. I have to, like, a little fangirl moment right now. Oh my gosh, this is so, you are so cool. Like, this is very, very good stuff. Thank you for sharing all this stuff. I love it. I hope that more people continue to connect, like through the Zoom reads, the great people, and just kind of take your mentality, right? Just know what, like, just keep pushing forward and creating and like writing and being behind the camera too. And just, I love it. You got a lot of shout outs. Oh yes. And good luck on your audition today.
Hi. This is the face you should look out for. He's going to be the famous one.
Ow. Never.
You saw him here on our Instagram live.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry I can't see your comments. I see the odd one. I don't know how to do this. I'm a
It's okay.
I'm a
There
dinosaur.
was some shout outs to Aries. There was a lot of shout outs to you. A lot of love your way. Good luck on your audition. You are very smart and talented. I agree. And your work ethic is phenomenal. I keep scrolling. Got a lot of shout outs on our chat. It was a great chat. I agree, everyone. But thank you so much for joining me, Kat. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Nail the audition. You got this. Throw in a snap that's awkward. That's because that's how I roll. And
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to end this. Thanks all for watching and have a good one.
Mwah.
Bye.